this man, saying female players should be grateful, is reopening a debate long thought over.
They ride on the coattails of the men. They don't make any decision. They're lucky. They're very, very lucky. If I was a lady player, I'd go down every night on my knees and thank God that Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal were.
Leading figures are already calling for him to step down, with ladies #1 Serena Williams among those to be furious.
There's only one way to interpret that: get on your knees, which is offensive as enough, and thank a man, which is not. We as women have come a long way.
In 2015, Serena Williams earned £8 million in prize money, but the men's #1 Novak Djokovic made almost half as much again at nearly £12 million. Both were Wimbledon champions, 4.3 million tuning in here to watch Serena's final, but more than double that watched Djokovic beat Roger Federer. However, in 2013, where both made the US Open final, the women's match was watched by 2 million more households in the US than the men's. And now Djokovic has surprisingly waded in too, the Serbian suggesting that his sex should be getting more.
Stats are showing that we have much more spectators on the men's tennis matches, and I think that's one of the reasons why maybe we should get awarded more.
A view not shared at this academy in Surrey, home of some promising British juniors. What message does it send out to aspiring female tennis players when the world's #1 male player says they should not be earning the same?
Personally, for us working with female tennis players, I don't think it's a good message at all. For us, we've had people like Conte, who's doing a great job for us, for our British tennis players here in England, and I think it's not going to help them to be working hard at such a young age if there's not going to be that equal prize money.
Leaving ones for the future to wonder why this issue is not consigned to the past. Richard Pallow, News at 10, Sutton.
Finally, the Royal Navy called it simply the mighty Sea King. For nearly 40 years, the helicopter has given unflinching service to Britain's armed forces in major conflicts around the world. Prince Andrew flew a Sea King during the Falklands War. Today, 5 Sea Kings gave a final ceremonial farewell before the aircraft is taken out of service at the end of the month, with a flypast over the south coast.
A final flypast for an aircraft that has been at the heart of military operations for generations. The Sea King Mark IV has been airborne for 37 years with the Commando Helicopter Force. It has an airframe that is instantly recognisable, and since the 1970s, active duty for Britain's armed forces has almost always demanded a role for these helicopters too. But it's an analogue aircraft, still flying in a digital world. The cockpit instruments are, by today's standards, archaic. Originally designed for anti-submarine warfare, the Sea King turned out to be so versatile that it was dubbed the Land Rover of the skies. For the engineers who kept them flying and who came to see them off today, they were as robust as farm machinery, made to withstand weather and warfare.
I've operated in Norway, Iraq, Afghanistan. I've been across to Germany, travelled the world effectively with this aircraft, and it's never once let us down. It's always been the agricultural term and phrase that we use is most definitely a compliment.
The Sea King helicopters, the Royal Marines painted khaki.
The Sea Kings, known as Junglies to the Royal Marines, were integral to the Falklands Task Force, transporting ammunition and soldiers in and out of action in the South Atlantic. Fast forward to Afghanistan, and decades on, the workhorse was still meeting demands. Like his uncle, Prince Andrew, Prince William has also piloted the Sea King. The aircraft has royal credentials, and as pilots will testify, it's a hands-on experience.
Yeah, it's definitely a sad moment. I mean, when I was a young boy looking at joining the Navy as a flyer, the Sea King was always an iconic aircraft then. So it's been very special to be able to fly that.
Of course, no aircraft is perfect, but the Sea King has been a success, and as it flies into retirement, it will be remembered for its strengths and its service.
Rupert Evelyn reporting there now to some of the stories making the headlines tomorrow. George Osborne will make his first appearance in the Commons since the resignation of Ian Duncan-Smith. And the Queen Bee of the Queen Vic will go to where the real Queen lives tomorrow when Barbara Windsor arrives at Buckingham Palace for her investiture as a Dame. Tom will be here tomorrow, and you can join him too shortly for the agenda. But from me and everyone here, good night.
She became a household name in Corrie.
Smiley's taking a quarter.
Now, with a career spanning 60 years, find out why at the age of 80, the nation's favourite, Anne Reid, finds herself as an unexpected pin-up. Good Morning Britain, tomorrow from 6.
Did you hear that? Must be in my head.
Green Flag Breakdown Response sponsors the ITV National Weather.
Hello. Across many northwestern areas, it is going to be a cloudier night, possibly with a few spots of rain across Northern Ireland and the far northwest of Scotland. But away from here, it's going to be dry with some clear spells, particularly across the southeast. So this is where temperatures are going to be coldest tonight. In fact, cold enough for a touch of frost, particularly out in the countryside. So a fresh start tomorrow morning. Initially, I think quite bright, but as we go through the daytime tomorrow, we will see the cloud cover increasing across many western and southern areas. The best of the sunshine lying out towards the east through the afternoon time. And here, the best of the temperatures, highs of 12 degrees Celsius. A similar day to come on Wednesday, but rain arriving by the end of the day. Good night.
Green Flag Breakdown Response sponsors the ITV National Weather.
Good evening, I'm Lucrezia Millerini. In 45 days' time, London will have a new mayor. That person will be chosen by voters, opting for the person they trust most on key issues of housing, public transport and security. In the first of 3 polls for ITV News and LBC by Comres, Labour's Sadiq Khan leads on 42%. Conservative candidate Zach Goldsmith is on 39%. The Lib Dems' Caroline Pidgeon and Greens' Sean Berry are on 6% each, with UKIP's Peter Whittle trailing on 5%. That would see all but the top 2 eliminated and a final head-to-head with Sadiq Khan on 53%, his rival Zach Goldsmith on 47%. Our political correspondent Simon Harris analyses the numbers, the candidates and the campaign to come.
London is a city on the move, a bustling metropolis with an ever-growing population. More and more people want to come here. It's all adding to the pressure on housing, on public transport and on the quality of the air we breathe. Those are just some of the challenges facing the new mayor, but not the only ones.
As mayor, I will be the British Muslim who takes the fight to the extremists.
Sadiq Khan, Labour's candidate for mayor, is ahead according to our poll, but it's still an open race. His speech today was an attempt to convince voters he can be trusted to keep them safe from extremists.
One of the ways you deal with radicalism and extremism in this country is to isolate and marginalise the extremist voices, not to give them platforms, not to give them oxygen, and not in some cases even to employ them, which is what Sadiq Khan has done.
I've condemned unequivocally extremist views that others may have. I'm the British Muslim who had a fatwa, a death threat against him because he voted for same-sex marriage.
Our opinion poll shows Zach Goldsmith beats Sadiq Khan on keeping London safe from terrorist attacks, being an ambassador for London around the world and working with the national government in Westminster. But on the 2 issues that matter most to voters, standing up for Londoners and understanding the needs of Londoners, Khan is way ahead. The 2016 election is a very different contest to the last 2. When Boris Johnson and Ken Livingstone went head-to-head, it was a battle between 2 big political personalities, both instantly recognised by voters, both known by their first names. But even the 2 front-runners in this race, both of them MPs, lack the profile of their predecessors.
Well, I think this is a wide open election. We don't have the existing mayory standing, and the public have got to get to know all of the candidates in this election.
People are starting to get a bit tired of this idea that it's just a 2-horse race, and when there are some quite uninspiring candidates being put forward by the main parties, I don't see why people shouldn't start turning to me.
I think we've got a huge opportunity right now. We're the 3rd party in London. At the last general election we came 3rd in terms of votes, and our vote is increasing all the time.
Tonight, the main players appeared at a mayoral hustings organised by Pride in London, where they were questioned about their commitment to gay rights. Simon Harris, ITV News, Holborn.
Well, in the run-up to the general election, Londoners' biggest concerns were the